Ever wonder which Sonic game is truly the best and which one should be left in the dust? We are ranking every Sonic game, from the iconic classics to the most recent flops. Sonic Frontiers is the best Sonic game since Sonic Adventure 2, or is it the worst? We're diving deep into the Sonic franchise to uncover the truth about the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Prepare to relive the nostalgia and cringe at the bad decisions. We're taking no holds barred. Look at every Sonic game, revealing hidden gems and forgotten disasters. Mind you, this is my own personal opinion. This is just for fun, so let's get into it.
Ah, new competition!
We're not wasting any time with this one, starting off strong. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 goes straight into S tier. No debate, no hesitation. This is peak classic Sonic. Where do we even start? Tight level designs, iconic music, element shields, and a bold leap forward from Sonic 2. And when you lock it in with Sonic and Knuckles, you're not just playing a game, you're experiencing the definitive 2D Sonic adventure. Let's be real, Sonic 3 set the bar. Now let's see how the rest stack up. Alright! No fence sitting, no half measures, Sonic Unleashed, it's going into S tier. This wasn't just a game, this was an experience. A global Sonic adventure with some of the best level designs, visuals, and the music the series has ever seen. The daytime stages, untouchable. Pure boost core bliss. Tight controls, pulse pounding momentum. This was Sonic Unleashed in every scene. And yeah, I love the Warthog. Say what you want, but the combat was amazing. The platforming was solid, and those stages had soul. Sonic meet God of War, and somehow it works. Unleashed had the speed, strength, and heart, and it didn't try to be just another Sonic game. It tried to be everything. Sonic Unleashed joined the legends. No debates, no regrets, this one's top of the food chain. Alright, let's talk about Sonic Adventure 2, and yes, it's going into A tier. This game dropped in 2001, and to this day, City Escape remains one of the most iconic first levels in platformer history. The music absolutely unstoppable. Seriously, the soundtrack alone could carry this game into A tier. Live and Learn, Pumpkin Hill, Metal Harbor, bangers across the board. And then there's the Chow Garden, a mini game so good, it could basically become its own sub-community. Raising Chow, racing them, evolving them, it was a side activity for many of us. It was the game. Let's not forget the debut of Shadow the Hedgehog, edgy, mysterious, and instantly a fan favorite. The dual campaigns Hero and Dark kept the gameplay fresh and the story surprisingly emotional. That said, it wasn't all gold rings and boost pads. Some of the mech shooter levels dragged a bit, and the treasure hunting missions, looking at you Metal Herd, could be frustrating. It's not perfect, but the highs are really highs, and for many fans like myself, it is the peak era of 3D. Alright folks, we'll be talking about a true classic, Sonic Adventure. Is it perfect? No. But does it deserve an A rank? Absolutely. Let's break it down. Sonic Adventure dropped in 1998 and it basically refined the 3D platforming for Sonic. It was ambitious, 6 playable characters, a huge story with multiple perspectives, and the franchise's first serious attempt at storytelling. It had a lot of heart and it tried things the series hadn't done before. That ambition alone earns it serious respect. The momentum, the music, the level design, it hits that sweet spot between classic and modern Sonic. The boss fights were creative, and the soundtrack, Open Your Heart, Red Mountain, it doesn't matter, pure bangers across the board. Now don't get me wrong, this game has its issues. The camera can be straight up unplayable in spots. Big the Cat's fishing stages are not it. And the voice acting, let's just say, it's alright. But despite all that, it's fun, it's memorable, it's experimental in all the right ways, even if it didn't all land perfectly. So for me, Sonic Adventure is a strong A tier. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is easily an A rank, and here's why fast. First, the spin dash is simple, it's powerful, and it instantly makes Sonic feel better than Sonic 1. Huge upgrade. The zones, mostly bangers, Chemical Plant, Casino Night, Sky Chase, top tier vibes. Metropolis Zone, 3 acts, Crab Meat Traps, and Starfish Bombs, no thanks. Tails makes his debut, which is awesome unless you're doing special stages. Then he's just there to eat all your rings. And yeah, those special stages, cool looking, but unforgiving. Miss one jump and you lose everything. But let's be real, Super Sonic, the Death Egg Robot, the music, all legendary. Sonic 2 is fast, fun, and iconic. Not quite perfect, but it's still an absolute gem. That's why it's a solid A tier. Sonic CD, solid A tier. First off, the aesthetics are top tier. Trippy background, weird enemies, and a style that screams early 90s in the best way. Add in 2 soundtracks, US and Japan, and both are fire, like actual bangers. The time travel mechanic, super ambitious. 4 versions of every level. Past, present, good future, bad future. It's deep. But let's be real, level design could be a mess, it's easy to get lost, and speed kinda takes a back seat. That said, Amy, Metal Sonic, and the animation cutscene, iconic. It's experimental, it's stylish, it's got attitude. Not the best playing Sonic game, but definitely one of the coolest. That's why Sonic CD lands in A tier. Sonic Frontiers, that's an easy A rank. Open zone gameplay, finally, Sonic feels free, speed, combat, puzzles, it's a weird mix, but it mostly lands. The soundtrack, absolute heat. Boss fight with metal vocals, I was locked in. In real talk, back when me and my baby mama was together, she used to sit next to me and watch me play this. Shout out to her for always hyping me up, even when I was stuck on that last Titan fight. She really saw how much it meant to me, and I always appreciated that. Thank you. Now listen, I love the story pacing in Frontiers. It was emotional, and it still had Sonic's heart. But Sonic Adventure 2 still did character switching and variety better. And where's my child garden, Sega? Frontiers brought the soul back, but it's not perfect. That's why it sits strong at A tier. Sonic's healing, and maybe I am too. Sonic X Shadow Generations, we are dropping it in A rank. The levels, solid and well paced. They don't drag at all, keeping the flow tight and the action non-stop. Shadow's controls, smooth and snappy. Really feels like you're in control of chaos energy. Sonic on the other hand feels a little less fluent. His movement isn't as sharp or responsive, which kinda holds him back. The big flaw, Shadow campaign is way too short. You barely get started before it ends. Definitely leaves you wanting more. So yeah, great levels, solid gameplay, a couple flaws, but overall Sonic X Shadow Generations earns a strong A tier from me. Alright, Sonic Heroes, it lands in the B tier for me. First off, the pacing is solid, and the stages moved along nicely, without those slow boring stretches that Sonic games suffer from. It keeps the momentum going, which is a key for any Sonic title. Now the team mechanic controlling 3 characters at once was a fresh and interesting idea. It added variety and strategy to the gameplay, making each level feel different, depending on which team you used. Now however, playing the same stage with each team felt repetitive. The game isn't perfect, controls can get clunky and slippery at times, especially when switching between characters quickly. And the camera, yeah, it's pretty frustrating in spots, and can make some platforming sections tougher than they need to be. Despite those flaws, Sonic Hero delivers a fun, unique experience with solid pacing, and a cool team aspect. So that's why Sonic Hero sits in B tier for me. We're putting Sonic and the Black Knight in B tier, and here's exactly why. First off, it's one of the most unique Sonic games ever. A darker medieval setting, a talking sword, and Sonic as a knight, bold move. And the presentation nails it, but gameplay, not as sharp. The motion controls are clunky, and the sword combat gets repetitive fast. It feels more like you're swinging randomly than mastering any real techniques. The mission structure drags too, a lot of reused objectives, and the pacing doesn't always keep up with the game's intensity. Now the story, yeah, is serious, but honestly, that's a good thing. It dives into themes like legacy, sacrifice, and courage, giving Sonic real depth without feeling forced. The reimagined characters, the soundtrack, the cinematic vibes, it all elevates the experience. If only the gameplay matched the ambition. So no, it's not top tier Sonic, but it's stylish, emotional ride that deserves more respect. That's why it holds the line for B tier. I'm putting Sonic Rush Adventure in B tier. Sonic Rush Adventure took everything cool from Sonic Rush, boost gameplay, trick system, Blaze the Cat, and tried to go bigger. You've got that flashy 2D action, high-speed section, and that slick DS dual screen flair. But then it throws in boat travel, and not once or twice, a lot. Between every level, you're navigating maps, building vehicles, and yeah, the boat races can be difficult and unfair at times. The bosses, solid. The soundtrack, not as iconic as the first game, but still packed with bangers. There is heart here, just a few detours too many. It's a fun ride that gets boggled down in its own side quest. Sonic Rush, fast, flashy, and packed with attitude. A Nintendo DS classic that introduced new mechanics, new music, and a new fan favorite character. But today, we're dropping it in B tier. And yeah, that's still a compliment. Let's break it down. First off, speed. Sonic Rush introduced the boost mechanic, and it absolutely delivered. It made every stage feel like you was rocking through a roller coaster. The dual screen level design, super creative. The verticality felt epic, even if it was a little hard to follow sometimes. Even the music! Do I even have to explain? Funky and unforgettable. Shout out to Hadoki Naganuma, the creator of the Jet Set Radio soundtrack. And let's talk about Blaze the Cat. This was her debut, and she has a standout, sleek design. Smooth mechanics is a great addition to the Sonic universe, but not everything is perfect. Sonic and Blaze campaign, nearly identical. Level designs flashy, but too many bottomless pits and unfair enemy placements. And the boss fight, cool concept, awkward execution. The 3D arena messes with the depth perception, and the hit detection is all over the place. Sonic Rush is a fast, stylish game that stands out in the handheld lineup. Sonic Colors is going straight into B tier. Visually, this game is a treat. It's colorful, it's vibrant, and the soundtrack, absolute fire. Reach for the Stars still hits hard, and those Wisp powers, mostly fun, especially the laser and drill Wisp. But then the pace grinds to a halt. Weird blocky platforming, slow sections, and honestly, some of the Wisps feel more like a chore. Now let's talk about dialogue. Yeah, Sonic's jokes in this game, super childish, and not in a funny Saturday morning way. More like your uncle trying to be cool, and it kinda ruins the vibe. Sonic Colors isn't bad, it got heart, solid ideas and some unforgettable moments. But with clunky pacing and cringe jokes, B tier is where it belongs. We're putting Sonic Riders in B tier, but don't get it twisted, B tier doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, Sonic Riders has one of the most fun racing systems in any Sonic game ever. The trick system, literally perfect. You're flying off ramps, landing tricks, gain air, and boost past your rivals. It rewards skill and timing. There's nothing like hitting an X rank trick right before the finish line. And let's be real, compared to Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, the original is just more fun. Zero Gravity slowed everything down. The gravity shifts were cool, but it didn't match the high-speed, technical gameplay of the first game. You've got air management, character classes, and those risky shortcuts, they felt amazing when you pulled them off. It's not just a racer, it's a skill-based battle on boards. It is a little clunky at first, but yeah, once it clicks, it's pure adrenaline. Alright, we're putting Sonic Riders Zero Gravity in B tier. Let's give this game its flowers because there's one thing it did better than the original. The soundtrack in Zero Gravity is absolute fire, from Ungravity to Sealed Ground, to the main theme Catch Me If You Can remix. The music had a futuristic style, edgy vibe that fits the game style perfectly. It made every race feel like a high-speed chase in space. Gameplay wise, yeah, it's slower. The gravity shift mechanic was a cool idea, but it kinda killed the speed and intensity from the first game. It looks great, but it feels less exciting. So yeah, B tier for gameplay, but when it comes to soundtrack, Zero Gravity beats the original, and it's not even close. Sonic Lost World, the game where Sonic wall runs, parkour, and flips into B tier. Not the best, but definitely not the worst. Let's give it credit, the visuals pop, the level design is bold, and the gravity mechanics, wild but fun once you get used to them. It's like the devs said, let's shake things up, and for the most part, it works. The parkour system, perfect. Sometimes it feels slick. Other times Sonic grabs a wall you didn't even look at. But when it clicks, you feel fast, agile, and in control. So why not A tier? Because it trips over its own potential. Combat slowed things down, the deadly hits are more annoying than threatening. And some gimmicks like the whiff just feel shoved in. It's like the game can't decide if it wants to be stylish, serious, or silly, so it just stuck juggling all three. It's not peak Sonic, but it's no disaster either. Sonic Lost World parkour is the way to B tier. Alright, let's talk about the most infamous Sonic game ever. Yep, Sonic 06. Now before you smash this like, I'm putting it in C tier. Now not because the gameplay was good, let's be real, it was broken beyond belief. But the story kinda slapped. Gameplay wise, a mess, glitchy everywhere. Loading screens longer than Knuckles glide, and yeah, we all remember the questionable Sonic X Elise moment. But yeah, here's the thing. The story was actually dark, emotional, and ambitious. You've got the apocalyptic timeline, a creepy shadow demon named Mephiles. Silver's arc, he's from a ruined future, time traveling to save the world. And Mephiles, man's one of the most sinister villains in the whole series. Dude literally killed Sonic, that scene still hits. It's not a good game, but it had vision. Sonic 06 swung for the fence, and while it tripped over his own shoelaces, the story had real weight. That's why it's in C tier. Not trash, not great, but you cannot ignore the ambition. Let's talk about Sonic and its Secret Rings, the motion controls experiment that landed Sonic in C tier. Released in 2007 for the Wii, this game threw Sonic into the Arabian Nights. Sounds cool, right? But then the controls happen. You steer Sonic by tilting the Wii remote. It's like trying to drive a sports car with spaghetti arms. Precise performing? Good luck. Combat feels floaty, jumping is stiff, and the Unrail style means you're most likely reacting, not playing. Story-wise, it's surprisingly not awful. Sonic's personality shines, and the book theme is creative. Props for the effort here. Some levels look glorious for a Wii game, but they recycle missions a lot. You'll replay the same stages with slightly different goals, over and over again. There is an RPG life skill system, but it's clunky. You'll be grinding for power-ups just to make Sonic control less terribly. So why C tier? It had heart, decent music in a unique setting, but the junky controls and repetitive gameplay held it back. It's not Sonic at his worst, but it's definitely not his best. Let's talk about Sonic Superstars, and yeah, I'm putting it in C tier. Let me explain. First off, the controls, kinda floaty. Sonic is all about speed and flow, but here it feels clunky. The momentum just isn't satisfying. Pull-off sounds fun, right? Nope, it's chaotic. The camera can't keep up, and half the time, you're just lost off screen. It's a mess. Now I'll give it this. The visuals are clean, and the music catchy, but the visual can't carry a whole game. Boss fights drag on forever. We're talking about 5-minute battles with simple patterns. In the level design, a mix of cool ideas. And why is it so long? Sonic Superstars isn't bad, it's just mid. Missed potential, frustrating moments, and not enough to keep me coming back. Oh boy, let's talk about Sonic Free Riders. It's going into C tier, and here's why. Released on the Xbox 360 as a Kinect exclusive, Free Riders looked good on paper. Hoverboards, tricks, racing with Sonic characters, but when you actually played it, yeah, the Kinect ruined everything. Input was laggy, jump wouldn't register, and half the time your character moved in the opposite direction. It's less like racing and more like wrestling with a motion control ghost. It's a shame because the soundtrack is fire. The visual was slick for the 2010s. So Free Riders sits at C tier. Definitely one of the most frustrating games. Leave a like if you ever rage quit on this game. Alright, we're diving into the original Sonic the Hedgehog from 1991, and yep, I'm putting it in C tier. Now don't get me wrong, this game started it all. Green Hill Zone, iconic. The soundtrack, still a vibe. Sonic looked cooler than anything else on the Sega Genesis at the time. But once you leave that first level, it kinda falls apart. Marble Zone slowed the pace down to a crawl. You are going from blazing fast to pushing blocks, and dodging lava is kinda like the game forgets it's supposed to be about speed. And let's talk about mechanics. No spin dash, that's one change in later games that made a huge difference. Without it, movement feels stiff, and the momentum is hard to keep. It's like the game wants to be fast, but keeps tripping over itself. If you go back to play it today, it doesn't hold up nearly as people remember. Nostalgia aside, Sonic 1's a C tier game. Sonic Team Racing is going in D tier. After a great game like Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform, this one feels like it's stuck in neutral. Slow, sluggish, and barely works online. The game looks nice, bright colors, smooth animation, and playable Sonic characters. But don't let the visuals fool you. The speed feels slow, and the racing drags more than they excite. The main twist is Team Racing. You trade items and boost teammates to build up Team Ultimate. Sounds smart, but your AI partners are so inconsistent. Often you feel like you're racing alone. Your perfect race can still end in defeat because the teammates can't keep up. And if you thought online play might save it, think again. Connection problems and lag makes multiplayer frustrating at best. Overall, the slow pacing kills any adrenaline rush. Tracks aren't memorable, music fades into the background, and the AI difficulty swings wildly. Compared to All-Star Racing Transform, this game felt watered down. A sluggish version that forget what made Sonic Racing fun. It's just not worth the hype, and that's why it lands in D tier. Sonic Forces is going in D tier. After so many great Sonic games, this one just doesn't deliver, and here's why. The story tried to be dark and serious, but it ends up feeling forced and forgettable. Gameplay is inconsistent. Some levels are decent, but most of them are either boring or short. The custom avatar mechanic was an interesting idea, but it feels tacked on and rarely improves the experience. Combat and platforming lack polish and often drags the pace down. Not only that, but the game feels like it's playing for you. Level feels uninspired and repetitive. The game struggles to balance speed and platforming, and that kills the excitement. Sonic Forces had potential, but missed the mark badly. It's a clunky dual ride that leaves you wishing for better. That's why it lands in D tier. Sonic Boom, the game that kinda like Sonic, but also kinda not. If you want to see Sonic slow down and lose his edge, this is the one. Alright, so Sonic Boom came out and honestly didn't set the bar. The gameplay feels slower than usual, which is weird because Sonic is supposed to be fast, right? Instead, it's more like Sonic is taking a nap while you're trying to control him. Graphics, they're okay, but nothing special. More like a Saturday morning cartoon. And the voice acting, Dude, it's kinda cringy. Sonic sounds like he's trying way too hard to be funny, and the rest of the crew is just kinda there, awkwardly hanging out. The story is just trying to be this big team adventure, but it kinda falls flat. The puzzles are boring, and the whole thing feels like a weird mixture of let's try something new and oh no, what are we doing? So yeah, Sonic Boom is definitely in D tier. Bonus level! Don't roast me in the comments because I forgot to rank this game first. Let's get it! Sonic Mania, easily one of the best Sonic games in years, and a true love letter to classic Sonic fans. Sonic Mania nails everything that makes Sonic great. It's got that perfect retro vibe with that glorious pixel art, super tight controls, and that insane speed we all love. Seriously, playing this game feels like stepping back to the 90s with a modern polish. The level design, absolute brilliant. They remix classic zones like Green Hill Zone and Chemical Plant, but add tons of new twists and secret pathways that keeps it fresh. Plus the soundtrack is straight fire, catchy tunes that stick in your head for days. It is not just Sonic, you can play as Tails and Knuckles, each with their own unique abilities, which add replay value and fun teamwork moments. Plus the boss fights, challenging. If you love Sonic or platforming in general, Sonic Mania is a must play. Thank you for watching and hearing my opinion. Hit that like button if you're a Sonic fan, and subscribe for more gaming content.